In every garden, no matter how small, there is a hidden promise. A promise that beauty can be created with care, imagination, and intention. Here at TERAFLORA Studio, we believe that every leaf, every bloom, and every corner of green space holds the potential to become a story. One that not only delights the eye but also soothes the spirit. The ideas we share with you are more than just designs. They are gentle invitations to slow down, to notice the quiet poetry of nature, and to bring a touch of timeless elegance into your daily life. Imagine walking barefoot along a soft garden path, hearing the hum of bees around blossoms, and watching the light filter gently through branches that you yourself have chosen and nurtured. These moments are not grand gestures. They are simple, grounding gifts that remind us of what truly matters. Before we begin, let us pause with honesty. This content has been curated and composed with the assistance of AI, carefully designed to bring you inspiration that is both creative and practical. It is important that you know this, because at TERAFLORA Studio, we value transparency as much as we value beauty. And so, as we embark on today's journey together, I warmly invite you to stay with us. Listen with ease, let your imagination wander, and allow these ideas to take root in your mind like seeds ready to grow. If you find inspiration here, let this be the beginning of many shared moments between us. Please, consider subscribing to TERAFLORA Studio, not just to follow our creations, but to join a community that cherishes nature, design, and the quiet joy of transformation. Together, let us keep building spaces that feel alive, serene, and truly our own. The art of transforming a small backyard often begins with a single living masterpiece, and few trees capture the imagination quite like a Japanese maple. Standing with delicate grace, its branches stretch outward like brushstrokes on a canvas, offering a canopy that changes attire with every season. In spring, fresh green leaves unfold, light and airy, carrying the promise of renewal. By summer, the foliage deepens into velvety tones, casting cool shadows across the garden floor. And when autumn arrives, the tree becomes a living lantern, glowing in fiery shades of crimson and gold. Around this centerpiece, a fairy pathway invites you closer. Smooth, natural stones are carefully placed, their edges softened by creeping time that weaves through every gap. As you step along the path, a gentle fragrance rises, blending with the earthy scent of soil warmed by the sun. It is a detail both simple and profound, reminding us that beauty lives not only in grand gestures, but in quiet touches that stir the senses. The surrounding layers complete the scene. Tall delphiniums sway like dancers at the edge, their colors bold yet harmonious. At the middle height, echinacea and geraniums fill the eye with rhythm and movement. Along the ground, violets bloom like small notes of joy, keeping the garden alive even when the maple pauses between seasonal displays. By day, the tapestry of textures and hues feels like a secret retreat. By night, a discreet uplight at the maple's base transforms the tree into a silhouette of living art, shadows playing across stones and flowers like a gentle performance. Designing with a Japanese maple is less about size and more about intention. Even in the smallest corner of a yard, this tree becomes a heart, a focal point where layers of planting, light, and texture converge. It reminds us that with thoughtful choices, a modest space can feel boundless. To walk this pathway is to experience not just a garden, but a sanctuary where time slows, fragrance lingers, and every step whispers of beauty crafted with care. There is a certain charm in creating a Mediterranean escape within the smallest of backyards, and it begins with something as humble as a dwarf lemon tree. Nestled in a rustic terracotta pot, its glossy leaves catch the light like polished emeralds. From the branches, golden lemons hang, glowing like ornaments against the sky. They offer not only beauty but also the promise of harvest. Fruit that can be picked fresh, sliced into cool water on a warm afternoon, or squeezed into tea shared with loved ones. Around the tree, the fragrance of herbs completes the atmosphere. Lavender with its calming purple spires whispers of Provence, while sage lends silvery softness that glows in the sunlight. At the edges, thyme creeps gently over the rim of the pot, spilling its scent with every brush of the hand. Together, these herbs form more than decoration. They create a tapestry of texture, color, and aroma that delights all the senses. The terracotta pot does more than hold soil. It anchors the scene in timeless simplicity. Its earthy tone blends seamlessly with both rustic and modern settings, making it as at home on a city balcony as it is in a suburban courtyard. The lemon tree itself thrives in this container, compact enough to fit comfortably in tight spaces, yet bold enough to command attention. Imagine placing a small bistro table beside it, perhaps 2 chairs angled toward the tree. In the early morning, you sit there with a cup of coffee, listening to the hum of bees visiting lavender blooms. In the evening, the tree perfumes the air with blossoms, and the golden fruit glows softly in the fading light. This is not just gardening. It is atmosphere, a story written in sunlight, scent, and taste. What makes the dwarf lemon tree so powerful is its ability to transform ordinary corners into living retreats. It is practical, beautiful, and filled with character. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that even in small spaces, abundance can thrive. With a single terracotta pot, a circle of herbs, and a little care, you create not just a garden, but a place where every moment feels touched by warmth and grace. There is something undeniably theatrical about a crepe myrtle in bloom. In the heat of summer, when many plants tire and fade, this compact tree bursts forth in clouds of blossoms, pink, lavender, or red, that ripple like fireworks against the green of its leaves. It is a performer in the garden, bold yet graceful, reminding us that beauty can arrive at precisely the moment it is most needed. To give the tree its stage, a curved gravel border sweeps around its base. The line is deliberate yet gentle, avoiding the harsh rigidity of straight edges. Instead, it introduces movement, as if the garden itself is breathing. The pale gravel glows beneath the canopy, reflecting sunlight upward to make the blossoms shine even more vividly. It is a simple touch, but one that transforms the crepe myrtle from a plant into a centerpiece. Beneath the branches, drifts of lavender, catmint, and salvia weave a soft underlayer. Their blooms echo the tree's palette, while their fragrance fills the air with calm sweetness. Bees hum between blossoms, and butterflies linger in the warmth. This living carpet keeps the scene alive long after the crepe myrtle has finished its floral display, carrying rhythm through the changing seasons. In autumn, the tree offers another gift, leaves that flame gold and crimson, adding warmth to the cooling days. Even in winter, when the branches are bare, the bark reveals subtle patterns, like a painting etched by time. With the right light, it glows softly, ensuring that the crepe myrtle remains a presence year-round. Designing a small space around such a tree is less about size and more about balance. The curved border creates flow, the companion plants provide softness, and the tree itself delivers drama. Together, they form a composition that feels alive, constantly shifting yet always harmonious. To walk beside a crepe myrtle framed this way is to experience a garden alive with motion and color, fragrance and song. It proves that even in the smallest space, a single thoughtful choice can ignite joy, transform perspective, and turn ordinary ground into a living canvas of beauty. There are trees that demand attention with grandeur, and there are those that enchant with quiet elegance. The dwarf magnolia, known as Little Gem, belongs to the latter, a living sculpture of grace perfectly suited for small spaces. Its glossy leaves shimmer like polished jade, while creamy white blossoms unfold through summer, releasing a fragrance that softens the warm air. To honor its presence, a simple white pebble ring is placed at the base. At first glance, it is a modest detail, but its effect is striking. The pale stones highlight the magnolia's dark foliage, creating a frame that is both minimalist and refined. The clean circle grounds the tree while leaving it free to shine, a reminder that sometimes the simplest gestures bring the greatest beauty. Around the magnolia, layers of cottage-style flowers provide gentle contrast. Soft petals sway in the breeze, their colors echoing the warmth of the season. Together with the magnolia's blooms, they weave a scene of timeless charm, one that feels both cultivated and natural. In the evening, a discreet light at the tree's base catches on glossy leaves, making them glow like jewels against the night. It is a performance subtle and enduring, repeated with every dusk. Unlike many ornamental trees, Little Gem keeps its presence through every season. Its evergreen foliage holds structure in winter when other plants retreat. In spring and summer, blossoms return like porcelain lanterns, filling the air with a sweetness that lingers in memory. By autumn, the leaves deepen, carrying the garden through transitions with poise. In the intimacy of a small yard or courtyard, this tree becomes not just decoration, but a quiet companion. It offers shade, scent, and structure, a living reminder of elegance that endures. The white pebble ring beneath it does more than please the eye. It creates a ritual of order, a space where tree and ground meet with harmony. To sit beside this magnolia is to feel time slow, to notice the subtle play of light on leaf, the fragrance carried by the evening breeze. In such moments, one learns that beauty does not require grandeur. It requires presence, patience, and a little thoughtful design. There are trees that charm with a single season, and then there are trees like the sarvisberry, which offer a story all year long. In spring, it awakens with delicate white blossoms, shimmering in the breeze like scattered lace. Summer brings clusters of berries, tiny gifts loved by birds that visit in cheerful flocks. By autumn, the foliage ignites into shades of copper and flame, turning even the smallest garden into a stage of fire and light. And when winter comes, the bark remains sculptural, catching the eye even in stillness. Yet what makes this design unique is not only the tree, but the frame that cradles it. Around its base, upcycled glass bottles are set upright in the soil, forming a mosaic edging that glitters under the sun. Each bottle reflects a fragment of light, turning the circle into a ring of gemstones. Green, amber, and clear shards sparkle at different hours of the day, reminding us that beauty can be born from what others discard. This playful border is more than decoration. It tells a story of imagination, of sustainability, of finding wonder in ordinary things. As the seasons change, so too does the light on the bottles. Cool blue sparkles in spring, golden hues in summer, fiery glows in autumn, and icy brilliance in winter. The sarvisberry and its mosaic frame become a dialogue between nature and human creativity, each enhancing the other. Around the tree, low drifts of thyme and lavender soften the ground, filling the air with fragrance as you walk past. Pollinators hum between blossoms and berries, weaving movement into the garden tapestry. Every detail becomes part of the experience. The shifting light, the scent of herbs, the sound of wings, the glow of glass. To stand by this tree is to see not only beauty, but possibility. It whispers that a small backyard can hold more than space. It can hold a philosophy, that nothing is wasted, that everything can be transformed, and that in blending the natural with the handmade, a garden becomes more than a collection of plants. It becomes a reflection of care, imagination, and joy. Sometimes, the most powerful transformation in a garden begins with just one tree and a place to sit. A potted olive tree, with its slender trunk and silvery leaves, has a way of evoking centuries of Mediterranean tradition even in the humblest of backyards. It is not just a plant but a lifestyle, a reminder of slow mornings, golden light, and the joy of lingering in conversation. Placed in a terracotta container, the olive tree feels both timeless and adaptable. The pot roots it with rustic character, while the tree itself rises with elegance, its shimmering leaves catching the light as if brushed with silver. Compact yet enduring, it thrives in a small space, offering a year-round presence that feels calm and assured. Beside it sits a bistro nook, a small round table and 2 chairs, simple yet inviting. It is easy to imagine the rituals the space inspires. Morning coffee savored beneath soft leaves, evening wine sipped as the day unwinds, quiet afternoons spent with a book while bees hum around the lavender planted at the pot's edge. The nook is more than furniture. It is a stage for memory-making, a pause carved out of the everyday. Around the olive tree, herbs grow in soft layers: lavender, rosemary, thyme, plants that release fragrance with every brush. Their aromas mingle with the faint sweetness of olive blossoms, filling the air with a sensory harmony. They ground the tree in both beauty and practicality, as leaves and herbs can be harvested, connecting the garden to the kitchen in small but delightful ways. As sunlight shifts through the day, the olive leaves shimmer, casting delicate shadows that dance across the gravel or stone below. By night, even with a single lantern glowing nearby, the tree becomes a silhouette of elegance, turning the nook into a retreat. What makes this design so enduring is its intimacy. It shows that you don't need vast space to create abundance. You need intention. A tree, a table, a few herbs, and suddenly a corner becomes a sanctuary. With a potted olive tree and a simple bistro nook, you invite not just beauty into your garden, but a way of living, slow, graceful, and filled with warmth. Every spring, there is a tree that awakens the garden with sudden poetry, the eastern redbud. Long before its leaves unfurl, clusters of blossoms cling directly to bare branches, glowing like rose-colored lanterns against the sky. It is as if the tree is lit from within, announcing the arrival of a new season with a flourish of color that feels almost magical. Beneath this living sculpture, a ribbon of stepping stones winds gently through the garden. The path is more than practical, it is an invitation. Each stone feels like a pause, a moment to look upward, to notice the way the blossoms catch the morning light. The gentle curve of the ribbon draws the eye toward the trunk, framing the redbud as the heart of the space. Around the stones, low perennials soften the edges. Hostas unfurl their broad leaves, echoing the heart-shaped foliage that will soon cloak the tree. Epimediums add texture, their forms mirroring the rounded rhythm above. Together, they create harmony at ground level, a whisper that mirrors the song sung in the branches. As the seasons shift, the redbud continues to give. When spring blossoms fade, fresh green leaves emerge, casting dappled shade that cools summer afternoons. In autumn, the foliage turns to warm gold, adding light to the shortening days. By winter, even bare branches carry grace, delicate lines etched against frosted skies. With the right placement of stepping stones, each stage feels intentional, a journey written into the design. To walk this path is to experience the garden as something more than plants. It becomes a rhythm, a story of transitions told in blossoms, leaves, and light. Children may follow the stones like a trail of discovery. Friends may pause mid-step to admire the glow of blossoms at eye level. And those who walk alone may find themselves slowed, their thoughts quieting with each deliberate step. In the intimacy of a small backyard, the eastern redbud proves that grandeur does not require size. With blossoms like fire, a ribbon of stone, and companions that echo its form, the tree transforms ordinary ground into a scene of pure poetry. It is a reminder that beauty can be both fleeting and enduring, and that each step, like each season, holds its own gift. Some trees speak of charm, others of practicality, but the bay laurel whispers of timeless refinement. In gardens small or grand, it has long been favored for its glossy evergreen leaves and the quiet dignity of its form. When trained into topiary, spheres, cones, or spirals, it becomes a living sculpture, a statement of both elegance and care. At its base, the design is grounded by a brick soldier course. Upright bricks, placed neatly in a circle or line, stand like sentinels, their warm red tones highlighting the deep green foliage above. The combination is classic yet approachable, evoking courtyards of French villas or English manors while still feeling at home in the humblest suburban garden. This simple detail gives structure to the scene, ensuring that the tree shines as centerpiece without overwhelming the space. The beauty of bay laurel lies not only in its appearance but also in its usefulness. The aromatic leaves, plucked fresh, carry centuries of culinary tradition, flavoring soups, sauces, and stews. To harvest from the same tree that frames your entryway or brightens your patio is to experience a connection between beauty and sustenance. Each clipped sprig carries the memory of both garden and kitchen, tying together two essential rhythms of home life. In summer, the glossy leaves catch the sun, reflecting a polished gleam. In winter, when other plants retreat, the topiary holds its shape proudly, offering structure when little else remains. The brick edging ensures the design stays crisp through all seasons, a frame that balances permanence with growth. Imagine two bay laurel topiaries standing guard at a garden gate. Their symmetry creates a sense of arrival, guiding guests into a space that feels intentional and cared for. Or picture a single specimen anchoring a corner patio, a quiet companion for evenings spent outdoors. In either setting, the effect is the same, an impression of elegance that endures without effort. This is the gift of bay laurel, the blending of beauty, practicality, and tradition. With a thoughtful touch of brick edging, it transforms even the smallest garden into a place of quiet grandeur, where every glance carries both refinement and warmth. In every garden, there is a moment when magic seems to descend, and few trees create such enchantment as the dwarf crab apple. In spring, it erupts into clouds of blossoms, delicate pinks or luminous whites, that transform an ordinary corner into a scene of pure wonder. The petals cling to branches like lace, then drift gently to the ground, leaving the air scented and alive with the hum of bees. Beneath this flowering canopy, a haze of catmint spreads like watercolor across the soil. Its lavender blue blooms soften the upright form of the tree, creating a balance of structure and flow. The catmint is more than an underplanting. It is a partner. Its fragrance calms, its flowers attract pollinators, and its texture gives the scene a softness that feels both natural and deliberate. Together, tree and ground cover weave a story of harmony. As seasons turn, the crab apple offers new chapters. Summer carries hints of small fruit forming among green leaves. By autumn, the tree glows with jewel-like fruits, shining against a backdrop of golden foliage. Birds gather to feed, adding movement and song. Even in winter, when branches are bare, frost and snow outline the tree in silver, while catmint's lingering form keeps the base alive with texture. To walk past such a pairing is to step into a living painting. A stone path laid nearby turns the space into a destination, a place where one might pause with morning tea or linger in evening quiet. The tree does not demand vast space to impress. It thrives in modest gardens, proving that beauty and abundance can exist even in small corners. This design is not only visual but experiential. The blossoms offer joy, the fruit provides food for birds, and the catmint brings fragrance and calm. It is practical yet poetic, structured yet free. Together they remind us that a garden's gift is not just what it shows, but how it makes us feel, slowed, soothed, and quietly connected to the rhythm of nature. A dwarf crab apple with a haze of catmint is more than planting. It is a dialogue between tree and earth, a seasonal symphony that carries life, color, and grace all year long. There are trees that bloom with grace, and then there are trees that transform the entire atmosphere of a garden. The star magnolia belongs to the latter. Before most plants awaken from winter's rest, it unfurls a constellation of blossoms, pure white, star-shaped, delicate as porcelain. Against the cool sky of early spring, they glow like lanterns, signaling that the garden is stirring back to life. What makes this design unforgettable is not only the tree itself, but the way light is woven into its story. Beneath the magnolia, a simple uplight is placed, aimed not to overpower but to reveal. As dusk settles, the branches become a living silhouette, casting shadows that dance across walls, fences, or pathways. The blossoms, illuminated from below, appear to hover in the evening air, ethereal and fleeting. It is a performance staged by nature, yet guided by thoughtful design. At ground level, dark slate mulch frames the tree, allowing the pale petals to shine even brighter. Around it, low perennials provide quiet structure, never stealing attention but completing the composition. A nearby bench offers a place to sit, to pause, and to watch as day gives way to night and the magnolia shifts from sculpture to theater. Through the seasons, the star magnolia continues to surprise. After the blossoms fade, fresh green leaves bring shade in summer, offering cool refuge on hot days. In autumn, the foliage turns to warm gold, echoing the glow of fading light. Even in winter, bare branches hold a sculptural beauty, their promise of another spring written in buds that wait patiently for their cue. The brilliance of this design lies in its simplicity. A compact tree, a thoughtful mulch, and a touch of light. Together, they elevate a small space into something timeless. It reminds us that beauty often comes not from excess, but from restraint, an interplay of flower, shadow, and silence. To stand near a star magnolia at dusk is to feel the world slow. The petals seem to float in the dark, the shadows stretch and sway, and for a moment, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. In that quiet glow, the garden becomes not just a place, but a memory etched in light. In a small garden, few trees can command attention quite like the bottle brush. Compact in stature yet bursting with personality, it announces itself with blooms that resemble crimson brushes dipped in fire. Against the soft green of its foliage, these flowers stand like beacons, bold and joyful, transforming even the most modest corner into a stage alive with color. But the bottle brush does more than dazzle the eye. It calls to life. Around its base, a pollinator strip ensures that the garden is never silent. Lavender spikes sway in the breeze, their scent carrying calmness. Echinacea, with its purple coneflowers, rises tall and welcoming. Golden coreopsis glimmers in sunlight, echoing the warmth of summer days. Together, these companions weave a carpet of fragrance and color that hums with activity. Bees dart between blossoms, butterflies linger with delicate wings, and hummingbirds flash like jewels as they sip nectar. The air itself seems to vibrate with energy. This partnership between tree and ground is more than ornamental, it is ecological harmony. The bottle brush offers nectar in abundance, while the pollinator strip ensures continuity of bloom, feeding and sheltering life throughout the seasons. What emerges is not just a garden design, but a living ecosystem, one that rewards the eye, the ear, and the heart. Even after rain, the scene transforms again. Droplets cling to the scarlet plumes, making them glisten like jewels scattered in the foliage. Sunlight breaks through clouds and each bloom catches fire anew, reminding us that beauty is never static. It is alive, shifting, surprising. At dusk, the energy softens. The crimson blooms fade into shadow, and the hum of wings quiets, leaving the tree to stand serene, its presence steady even in stillness. And yet, the memory of its liveliness lingers, carried in fragrance, in color, in the tiny dances of pollinators that make a garden more than just a place to look at. It becomes a place to feel. The bottle brush with its pollinator strip is proof that a small space can hold entire worlds. With one tree and a thoughtful band of companions, you invite light, fragrance, and life into your garden. It is not only design, but a celebration of connection between plant and pollinator, between earth and sky, between garden and soul. Some trees carry the grace of poetry in their very form, and the weeping cherry is one of them. In early spring, its branches bend like a fountain, each one cloaked in delicate blossoms that shimmer with every breeze. Pink or white, the petals hang in cascades, softening the world with a beauty that feels both fleeting and eternal. At its feet, a bulb ring completes the performance. Tulips in crimson and ivory, daffodils glowing yellow, all planted in a circle that echoes the tree's drip line. Their timing is deliberate. Just as the cherry begins to bloom, the bulbs rise to meet it, creating a duet of color and form. Together, tree and flowers weave a moment of harmony so vivid it feels almost staged, yet wholly natural. The effect is one of abundance in a small space. The tree, though compact, carries drama in every branch. The bulbs, though humble, rise in chorus to amplify its song. As sunlight pours through the blossoms, petals fall softly onto tulip leaves. Daffodils glow beneath a canopy of pink, and the garden becomes a theater of spring. Even after the blossoms fade, the tree holds elegance. Its arching form remains sculptural, casting gentle shade through summer, then glowing with gold in autumn. In winter, bare branches stand like brushstrokes against the pale sky, proof that beauty changes form but never disappears. The bulb ring too carries on, resting beneath the soil, storing promise for another season's bloom. To walk near a weeping cherry framed by flowers is to feel the passing of time as something tender, not harsh. It reminds us that every season brings its own kind of beauty, and that transience itself is part of the wonder. The circle of bulbs mirrors the circle of life, rising, blooming, fading, and returning again. In the intimacy of a small garden, this pairing creates a sanctuary. It is not just a tree and flowers, but a reminder that even in limited space, one can create abundance. A garden like this asks nothing more than to be seen, to be cherished, and to remind us gently that beauty often lives in the moments that do not last. Some trees hold beauty in blossoms, others in fruit, but the smoke tree grace offers enchantment through illusion. Its feathery plumes drift like pale clouds above a canopy of deep burgundy leaves, creating the impression of smoke rising gently from the earth. In a small garden, it becomes both focal point and conversation piece, a tree that feels mysterious yet undeniably graceful. To heighten its drama, pale gravel is spread at its base. Against this light canvas, the dark foliage glows with even greater intensity, while the smoky plumes appear to float in midair. The contrast is simple, yet it transforms the scene, proving that sometimes the strongest designs are born from opposites. Light against dark, airy against solid. Companions like silver artemisia echo the tones of the gravel, weaving frosted foliage into the scene and softening the line between ground and tree. The result is a harmony of textures: velvet leaves, airy plumes, and silvery ground cover, all balancing one another in a composition that feels deliberate and alive. Through the seasons, the smoke tree shifts its palette. In spring, fresh burgundy leaves emerge, rich and vibrant. By midsummer, the airy plumes take center stage, glowing especially after rain when droplets cling like tiny jewels. Autumn sets the tree ablaze with fiery oranges and reds, carrying warmth into the cooling days. Even bare in winter, the branching form remains sculptural, its silhouette striking against pale skies or snow. To sit near this tree is to feel a sense of quiet drama. The plumes catch the breeze and seem to drift, as if the garden itself is exhaling. The gravel beneath crunches softly underfoot, a reminder of Earth's grounding presence. In such a space, time feels slower, the world more delicate. The smoke tree grace with its pale gravel contrast is more than ornamental design. It is a study in balance, a reminder that beauty thrives in contrast, and that mystery has a place even in the smallest of yards. It invites us to see a garden not as a collection of plants, but as a stage where light, texture, and color perform their endless, mesmerizing play. There are trees whose beauty lies in leaves, in blossoms, or in fruit. And then there are trees like the paper bark maple, whose very skin is art. Its trunk peels in curling ribbons of cinnamon and copper, layers catching the sun and glowing as if polished by time itself. Even in the stillness of winter, when branches stand bare, the bark alone is enough to command attention, a sculpture crafted by nature's hand. At its feet, a carpet of evergreen ground covers, pachysandra and vinca, spreads in soft, uninterrupted green. This living floor frames the maple's upright form, grounding it in color and texture while ensuring the garden never feels empty. Together, tree and carpet form a duet of contrast. Fiery bark against cool greenery, upright trunk against soft cushion. As seasons turn, the story deepens. In spring, the maple unfolds delicate new leaves, tender green against the warmth of copper bark. By summer, the canopy thickens into rich shade, while the evergreen carpet beneath stays constant, a calm companion. Come autumn, the tree becomes a lantern. Its canopy ignites in amber, scarlet, and gold, while the evergreen ground amplifies its brilliance. Even as winter strips the leaves away, the bark glows in low sunlight, its peeling layers shimmering with hidden light. The magic of this pairing lies not in grandeur but in constancy. The paper bark maple ensures spectacle through every season, while the evergreen carpet offers stability, anchoring the shifting drama above. In small gardens, this balance is invaluable. It creates interest without clutter, elegance without effort. To stand near such a tree is to feel the passage of time made visible. The bark curls slowly, a record of years etched layer by layer. The evergreen carpet remains faithful, whispering that life continues even when seasons fade. Together, they remind us that beauty is not only in the fleeting brilliance of blossoms, but also in the enduring rhythm of growth and change. In the intimacy of a backyard, this design transforms the ground and the sky into a single composition. A tree of fire, a carpet of green. Together they create a sanctuary of warmth, texture, and timeless grace. In the quiet geometry of a garden, few designs are as satisfying as a trio of dwarf conifers. Small in stature yet mighty in presence, their evergreen needles ensure that structure never fades, even when flowers rest. Planted together, one upright and slender, one rounded and full, one compact and pyramidal, they become a living composition, each form enhancing the other, like instruments playing in harmony. Beside them stands a Gabion accent, a narrow column filled with natural stones. Its texture is rugged, its lines clean, bridging rustic tradition with modern design. Against the soft green of conifers, the Gabion provides contrast, grounding the arrangement in strength and permanence. Together, stone and tree weave a dialogue of opposites, living and inert, soft and solid, evergreen and unchanging. Around their feet, creeping thyme and ajaga soften the ground. Their leaves spill gently between the stones, adding fragrance and seasonal color. In summer, tiny blossoms light up the green, while in winter, frost etches their outlines in silver. These companions turn the conifer's steadfastness into something dynamic, ensuring that even the smallest corner feels alive with change. The beauty of dwarf conifers lies in their reliability. They do not demand constant care, yet they offer presence every day of the year. In winter, when much of the garden sleeps, their forms stand sculptural against snow. In spring and summer, they frame flowers with quiet strength. By autumn, they contrast brilliantly with fiery foliage, a steady chorus beneath the season's symphony. To sit beside this trio is to feel balance. The eye moves from one form to the next, finding variety without chaos. The Gabion accent rises like a sentinel, its stones carrying the weight of time, while the conifers embody the endurance of life. Together, they transform a neglected corner into a statement, one that feels intentional, strong, and serene. This design teaches that elegance is not always in flowers or fleeting color. Sometimes it is in structure that lasts, in the play of form against texture, in the steady presence of green when all else fades. A trio of dwarf conifers with a Gabion accent becomes more than planting. It becomes a sculpture, a meditation in balance, and a reminder that beauty endures in simplicity. As our journey together comes to a gentle close, let us take one last moment to breathe in the calm of the garden we have imagined. Each tree, each flower, each stone placed with care. These are not only elements of design, but chapters in a story that you are free to write in your own way. A garden is never truly finished. It grows, it changes, it surprises us with moments of wonder when we least expect it. A single bud can open into joy, a shift of light can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, and the sound of wind moving through branches can remind us that beauty often lives in silence. It is here, in these quiet transformations, that we find both inspiration and peace. At TERAFLORA Studio, we believe that sharing these ideas is not only about shaping landscapes, but also about shaping experiences. Experiences that bring comfort, connection, and a sense of belonging. The spaces we create together are more than gardens. They are sanctuaries for the soul, places where time slows and the heart feels at ease. As you step away from this video, I invite you to carry this calm with you. Let the visions of blossoms, leaves, and flowing paths linger in your imagination, and let them spark the beginning of your own creation. Whether your garden is vast or modest, whether it sits in a courtyard, balcony, or a single pot on a windowsill, it has the power to transform the way you see the world around you. If this journey has touched you, please consider subscribing to TERAFLORA Studio. By joining us, you become part of a community that celebrates beauty, creativity, and the timeless poetry of nature. Together, let us keep nurturing spaces that bring warmth, harmony, and gentle joy into our lives.